Throughout your life, you will come across many men who claim to be high value. In fact, every other man today thinks he is high value. Same goes for godly men. Most think that they walk with God besides them. Sadly, they couldn't be further from the truth. Today, I want you to focus on a specific word. It's called bedroom demons. The meaning is quite self-explanatory. If you understand the spiritual realm, you would know that there are demons that carry physical pleasures. They hide behind the illusion of lust. Today, you will learn about a true story of a man who experienced this for himself. But first, let's decode how this all begins. A man meets woman. Simple. Such interactions are common everywhere in the world. Since it's flesh, we're so consumed in thinking about the physical features that we forget about the spiritual aspect. The man looks at her hair, face, smile, and body parts, while a female considers the stature, muscles, or facial structure of her partner. But none of them think about the other person's spiritual state or background. No one has ever realized how much spiritual baggage the other one has. Imagine for a second, you knew that the other person had AIDS or HIV. Would you ever be intimate with them? When it comes to the spiritual background of the person, you can only judge from a face and say that the person is Christian, not even considering how the other person lives and conducts themselves. In short, we can't see the other person's heart and tell if it is wicked or pure. Similarly, we cannot perceive what intentions are hiding in that person's heart. They can be good or evil. So, why do people jump into a sexual relationship without thinking about the consequences? They don't realize what they may encounter in the future. This is the main reason why God has set boundaries. You may blame God all you want for stopping you from sinning. In fact, most men hate God for this very reason, why He restricts you from having the so-called fun this world has to offer. So what is the purpose of setting these extreme-looking boundaries? 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 2 says, "But because of the temptation to sexual immorality, each man should have his own wife, and each woman her own husband." If you look carefully at this verse, the temptation for sexual sin is strong. It's stronger than you can admit. This is why God commands us to have a wife or husband, so that we can stay away from it. Instead of committing a sin, become one flesh and enjoy God's blessings. Sex in itself is not wrong. In fact, it is honorable and respectable if done within the boundary of marriage. But when you decide to step outside of this boundary, you put yourself at great risk. You may end up uniting yourself with all kinds of unwholesome spirits, and you won't experience the consequences right away. With that said, I really want you to understand this true story of a young man who decided to jump out of these boundaries. There was a Christian seminar held to talk about the dangers of sexual sins. There, a Christian man testified and told his story about meeting a lady and having an immoral sexual relationship. They both spent some time together and very soon committed a sexual sin. As a Christian, he saw some odd habits in his partner, but ignored them out of strong lust, temptation, and desire. He already knew it was fornication, but couldn't stop himself from doing it. This, my friends, is exactly how the devil deceives you. He keeps on pushing you further by comforting you, telling you to do it just one more time. You might be thinking of the time you relapse. What's the first thing that comes to your mind? I will just do it one last time. Correct. Brothers, that's the voice of the devil. And so, the immoral relationship of the man continued. One day, the man found a book that the woman has been reading, which scared him. He realized he got himself into trouble. The book was on how to do witchcraft, becoming a psychic and fortune teller. He decided to ask the girl why she was studying this. To no surprise, she wanted to be a fortune teller. But that's not all. She had also joined an online community and had gathered a lot of material to practice the evil rituals at home. Now, imagine a Christian man in a relationship with a woman who used to practice supernatural rituals. That alone should tell you of all the dark spiritual baggage she is carrying. Such psychic spirit has been discussed previously in the Bible as well. Acts 16, verse 16, tells us about Paul's encounter with a slave girl possessed by a demonic spirit. That girl claimed she can foretell the future and unleash hidden knowledge. So on the physical level, it's boy meets girl or man meets woman. But on the spiritual level, it's about the righteous meeting the unrighteous and the holy man meeting evil. Why do you think when you retain your seed, all of a sudden more women start noticing you and coming your way? Most of them you may have no interest in, but still decide to pursue anyway. This, my brothers, is nothing more than another temptation. Since the devil can't tempt you through watching porn or computer screen, he now sends in temptation in physical form. This combination always results in the righteous soul getting corrupted, because the intentions were all wrong to begin with. This person had exposed himself, with body and soul, to an ungodly spirit. Who knows how much damage it caused to his spiritual life, what kinds of ties he had formed, and how deep they were. Anyhow, he realized his mistake and confessed. He spent a long time in church to understand the severity of the situation. The pastor began to fast with him, pray with him, and encourage him to behold the faith that those ties would break, and he would be back to a healthy relationship with God. So, brothers, it all begins when you decide to cross the boundary God has set. Those boundaries are there to protect you and your spirit, and marriage is that boundary. Even if you're looking for a legitimate life partner, don't rush into sexual relationships before the boundary is set. That's because you'll step outside that boundary of protection. Of course, don't rush into a marriage either. In fact, don't even try to pursue a marriage. Jesus said, "Follow me first, and all these things will be given to you." So the secret to life is first learning to submit to God. Put God Himself on a pedestal. Then, instead of chasing after the right girl or marriage, you will begin to attract them. Learn to use the 3 weapons in your armor, which are prayer, perseverance, and courage. They'll help you resist the devil and save you from becoming yet another victim. You may feel weak, but when you seek God with your whole heart, He will respond. By the way, don't forget to show some love. Tap that subscribe button and hit like for the algorithm. To see the next best way to level up as a man, watch these videos here.